Geometry Dash has a total of 8 different game modes. You might know GD as the game where a square jumps over spikes, but you can also be a ship that flies up and down, a Flappy Bird a UFO, a spider that teleports every time you click, just to name a few. The most recent addition to the game is the Swing Copter, added in Update 2.2. It's an airborne game mode that switches gravity every time you click. But what if I were to tell you that the Swing Copter has already been in Geometry Dash several years before it was officially added? Okay, so this is the ball game mode, one of the first to be officially added. It switches gravity every time you click, but only if you're on a platform, not like the Swing Copter. And combining it with the dual portal that makes it so there's 2 players instead of 1, you can do a setup like this that basically does the exact same thing as the Swing Copter. People were doing this since all the way back in 2014, nearly a decade before the Swing Copter was actually officially added. There are many fan-made game modes in Geometry Dash. Another fairly popular one is the Snake. Let's set ourselves to the Wave game mode, which is an actual game mode. When the player holds down their input, the wave moves up, and when they let go, it moves down. It's literally the simplest game mode possible. This is a dash orb. When the player clicks and holds, it keeps them moving in a straight line until they let go. There's also this pink variation that flips the player's gravity when they click it. So if we take this pink dash orb, use an advanced follow trigger to have it follow the player, and finally set the dash orb to multi-activate, it turns the wave into what the community has collectively pretty much dubbed as the Snake game mode, because it kind of slithers around like a snake. One popular example of this game mode is from Jazor. Funny enough, this example uses the Swing Copter as its asset. Jazor, look, I'm not a zoologist or anything, but I don't think that's a snake. I've wanted to try making snake gameplay for a while, but I just never really got around to it. I always thought it could be fun, and now I finally got a chance to do it. This is my level Clusterfunk that I've been working on. I've already made one video working on it, so you can watch that after this if you want, a little shameless self-promotion. I stream working on it fairly often, and I've decided to use this level as a chance to finally make some snake gameplay. I made a custom asset and everything, it's very cool. You should watch the video so you see it. Okay, thank you. Before the stream I threw together a quick prototype. What I did was make a bunch of circles that slowly get smaller, and then I placed down a bunch of advanced follow triggers with slowly increasing delays, making a sort of trail effect. This definitely wasn't the best way to do this, but this was good enough for me at the time, so I called it quits and went to start my stream. I make this into a video. I really shouldn't be eating chocolate for the intro. I'm sorry, a lot of you seem to be busy doing homework. Okay, so I have the first half of this drop done, which is a symmetrical duel. And today we're going to be working on the second half. You'll notice how this wave portal is a little strangely colored. Okay, so now I'm gonna make a custom game mode, basically, and this isn't going to be anything super revolutionary. Some of you may know of the fan-made Snake game mode. That's not what I'm looking for. I swear this is a thing. This person made sort of what the Snake game mode is. I think this is a ship with a pink dash orb. I'm making mine more precise using a wave with a pink dash orb. Let me just show you. This is a thing people have created before. So I made a test. Basically, you're a wave, there's a pink dash orb to show the players so you can see what's going on here. And then I have a lot of advanced follow triggers that basically make these circles follow the player in a trail. Can you do that with particles? You know what, you probably could. That's maybe a smarter way of doing it. I was about to do a ton of advanced follow. Yeah, maybe particles is the way to go. I do need to make the head of the snake to start off. Let's place down a large circle for maximum resolution. And this will follow the wave. Make Albert maybe in another stream. Okay, so let's give this circle a group. Let's make it player color. That's color channel 10. And, okay, that's group 38. Let's use an advanced follow trigger. I should not have eaten chocolate while trying to record commentary. Alright, let us use an advanced follow trigger to have group 38 follow the player. So now the head of the snake will follow the player. I do not have a start position. I'm gonna put this on T1 because the particles, I would put this on B1 really high up, but the particles render beneath everything. So if we're using those, I'm gonna use T1. I also thought of using gradient triggers, but that was just way too complicated to set up. I really couldn't be asked. So particle thing. I want these to not move and not have any variation in their position. I want these to be circles. Maybe not go to 0 size. Maybe like close to. By setting the start size to something high like 30 and the end size to something low like 1, I can make the player's trail get smaller over time. Although my dumbass cut start size variation confused with the end size parameter, but don't worry, I do fix this later. The end size is just set to 1 by default, so this already works pretty much fine. Let's make a lot of particles spawn. Max particles, 400. Let's make the lifetime always the same. Also, I don't want these to be additive. I want them to use object color, and I'm going to set them to that player color channel. Okay, the number of particles here might be slightly overkill. Okay, and I'm gonna like scale this to be the same size as the snake head. Here's an example of everything so far following the player. Ain't that cool? Okay, the particle trigger, I need to change it from grouped to, I think free? Will that leave a trail? Whoa! Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Why is it doing this? Relative? Let's try relative. Okay, it's relative. Relative is what we want to do. Ah, that looks good. I think it actually does need to make more particles. It doesn't look smooth enough. Do like a mission 300. You like jam on food? You monster. I am truly appalled. I'm gonna make the lifetime a little less so that these shrink in size faster. Also, I can change these back to color channel 10. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste this particle, move it up 1Z order, scale it down a little bit, or I need to change this to color channel 11, which will copy player color 2. So there's going to be an inner bit that's the player's second color. I need to scale this down. Let's warp so we can make it even smaller. Oh dear. Why is that pure white? Use object color. Why is that not turned on? I don't know. I don't understand this game. Okay, the extra bit on top does not exist. Maybe I should put these on like B1 and then these on T1? Is that the only way I can do this? Yay! Okay, I need to hide the wave. I don't want the wave to show. Hide, there we go. Okay, so now all we need to do is add a pink dash orb that is invisible and has no effects, and is multi-activate to the same group as all this, group 38, so it follows the player, and everything should be good to go. Alright, we have a snake game mode, let's go! Oh, I need outlines. I need like a black outline. Okay, I might not let the player have glow color after all. This is already so many particles. Please play dash? No. No. What? No. What's the name of my custom game mode? This is the snake game mode. I'm not the first one to make something like this. It's kind of like the wave, but the entire thing is the trail. Alright, I'm gonna decorate the head a little bit. Like the face emoji 9. You know what? Okay, in the final level, I want to have like a few different snakes you can change it to, like in an options menu at the beginning, and I will make emoji 9 one of them. In fact, add emoji 9 snake. It won't even be player color, it'll just be like the yellow emoji 9 face. Let's copy values of the object in the front. copy paste to the black circle. Then we paste state and move it up a Z order. So now this is on top of the entire snake because that little circle's in the front. And then here, I'll just make like a little snake face. How about that? So there's one eye. That's so big. It's so big. How do I do this? Okay, maybe I should move these up a few more Z orders so I have a little wiggle room here. Wiggle, get it? Because it's a snake. Maybe add like a player color outline to it. Don't lock the preview. And then, yeah, now there's a little outline on top of the player color 2 center of the snake that helps the eyes pop a little more. And what I might even do is do another player color 2 fill object on top of the outline object here. The snake looks very tired. This snake has seen things, dude. I kind of like it though. It fits the aesthetic of the level more. I don't want it to be too cute. I want it to be like kind of mechanical and dark. Okay, so did I ever explain? I forgot I was gonna mention this at the start of the stream. This level is actually gonna be like the back rooms of RobTop Industries. I realized I never said anything about that. So this is kind of like an unused secret game mode that you collect in the level, but the whole thing is gonna have very much like secret area, lots of experiments being done on cubes, and like cubes being crushed and dying, and it's gonna feel like really, really scary. It's a good snake face, I think. Robert is actually bad. Yeah, Robert is secretly evil. And this level is my way of exposing RobTop games. Tell my story. Let's do like a little snake tongue. Okay. Why can I not select this object? Okay, I can. That's all group 38, good. Save. Let's see how this looks. The head's not gonna rotate yet. It looks kind of goofy. I feel like there's a little too much detail on the eyes. What I might do is just have one shine instead of the 2. Alright, let's make the head rotate to face the same direction as the wave. And in order to do that, give this group 39. Give the middle of the head 39 parent. And now hopefully if I have group 39, follow the player's rotation. Hopefully that works. Let's see. No, it doesn't rotate at all. That's good. Oh, dynamic mode. There we go. No, still not working. Oh, 49. Why is that set to 49? What? Oh, there it goes. I'm gonna speed hack so I can see this better. There we go, now it follows the same rotation as the wave. Perfect, beautiful. This is how that looks in the actual level. Look at him go! I need to turn on no effects on the dash orb, I thought I did. That is turned on. Why do I see dash fire? It like shows for a frame and then disappears. I don't like that. I spent a long time trying to figure out how to get rid of that dash fire effect to no avail. Apparently there's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, I have an idea. Okay, we have to delete the dash orb, and it's time to do some fun, whimsical teleport trigger shenanigans. We love to see it. Okay, so we'll use a teleport trigger to act like a dash orb. So, if we use this player icon particle, you can use any object for this, but I like this one for player-related shenanigans. Let's give this a group. And now, if we say move group 40, that was its group, with target mode, target mode on, let's make an instantaneous movement, and have it move to where the player is. And we activate this move trigger every time the player clicks. Player 1 only. We can make another one for player 2 later if we want to do a duel. There won't be a duel part in this section though, so we can worry about that later. Group ID 40. Oh, it gets triggered when the player touches the computer button. Okay, does that get teleported to the player every time they click? It worked once, and then stopped working. Oh, this isn't set to toggle on. How did it work in the first place? Oh, wait, this is group 41. It's moving group 40. My bad. Let's set this to 41. There we go. Okay, this gets moved to the player every time they click. And now, what we can do... Let's see. We need to make a teleport loop. So let's give this group 42 and have... This is how you make one of these. An item compare, spawn, loop. And these don't break. For whatever reason, these work consistently. You can make a spawn loop in Geometry Dash by doing the following. If you set a trigger like this move trigger to spawn triggered and then multi-trigger, then give it a group, you can spawn it using a spawn trigger. You'll see this object move right when I trigger this spawn trigger here. If you give a spawn trigger, say group 1, and set it to affect group 2 with, let's say, half a second of delay, and set this spawn trigger to spawn trigger multi-trigger, then make a new spawn trigger set to group 2, affecting group 1 with the same delay, also spawn trigger multi-trigger, then spawn the loop itself with one more spawn trigger, will affect group 1 with no delay and none of this checked, and set this move trigger to group 1 and this move trigger to group 2. These spawn triggers will spawn each other in an infinite loop. You can see this object moves back and forth basically forever. Or you could just hit the create loop button, that also works. Now, why I'm telling you all this is the fact that if you set this delay value to a low enough number, the spawn loop just breaks. Yay! So if you want something to happen every frame, you'll need to do a different setup like the one I'm using right here, which does work for some reason. Let's have the item compare trigger always spawn group 42, and this will be spawn triggered group 43. We'll make this group 43 and group 41, so 41 gets toggled on every time the player clicks, and this had group ID 43. Okay, let's give this group 42 and have it affect group 43, which is the item compare trigger with a 0.0001 second delay. That should be spawn triggered as well. This teleport trigger should ignore horizontal position, ignore X, so it only teleports the player vertically. That will be spawn trigger as well. So now when the player clicks, they should just like forever move in a straight line if this works correctly at this point. No, it does not. Okay, what's the problem? Touch group 41, group 41, and also 43. Multi-trigger, this is spawn trigger, which is this item compare trigger, and this teleport trigger is also group 42, spawn trigger, multi-trigger, and it doesn't have a target group. Nice. That should target group 40, which is this player icon object. There we go. Yay! Eternal Torment. Turn off effects on this thing. There we go. And now, the next step should be when the player releases the button. So if we change this to hold mode and do toggle off, then that means when the player releases, it toggles on the group ID you put in here. Touch triggers are weird. These can like all have a group 44. Just do the nuclear option and stop every single trigger in this loop so that I know it will work. And then this stop trigger will get triggered when the player releases. Yay! Okay, does it work? Oh, now that's a problem. I wonder if setting this to silent, which makes it, I think, happen a frame earlier, will fix this problem. Let's save the level, and as a matter of fact, upload it unlisted, because sometimes setting triggers to silent can crash the game. Okay, it doesn't here. Okay, maybe if we spawn this spawn trigger instead of the item compare trigger. This already is set to have a tiny delay, so maybe then that will happen after the object is moved to the player. So let's try that. There we go. Okay, it works, but obviously the player's gravity doesn't change here. In fact, let's flip the player's gravity here so we can better demonstrate this. Okay, you see it works, but the player's gravity does not get flipped when they click. Make it a blue orb. Actually, that is a good idea. Yeah, you're right. All I have to do is put a blue orb with multi-activate on top of the player. What was the follow group again? 38. And now, if I set that to no effects and hide, that probably, you shouldn't be able to see it. That shouldn't create any effects. Hopefully we don't have another dash fire situation, and we don't. Okay, it works! Yes! Good, yay! RobTop, please fix the dash fire particle glitch. It shows for just a frame, so obviously it's like not supposed to show. The game mode works, we actually have to make gameplay with it. I haven't done that yet. It's been an hour. Let's put like yellow gravity pad at the end of this platform. Okay, that flows better. The reason this flows better is that this platform is so low on the screen, the player doesn't have much time to click after falling off of it. Flipping the gravity instead gives the player a lot more time to react. Okay, a good opening for this would just be that. So we click there and then we click there. I'm gonna do the whole electrodynamics spike staircase thing, because I don't like using slopes in this level. The reason I don't like using slopes is that this level is supposed to take inspiration from Clusterfunk and other early RobTop levels just in general, from like back before the slopes were added to this game in update 1.8. Yeah. Select the thank you. This would be really cool with the arrow/rotate gameplay stuff, but I don't like it because it breaks sync. Yeah, it's annoying to work with. I do have camera controls in the level. I have a lot of like very zoomed in parts, like this part. See, very zoomed in, and then I have a lot of very zoomed out parts. Like this part, very zoomed out, as you can see if we line up with this camera guide trigger. Let's do like a yellow gravity portal here, so you click to go up, but then it like pushes you back down. Because I feel like the player is kind of stuck in the top of the screen during this part. Oh wait, the wrong portal. That's good, because I don't like having two of the same portal in a row. This looks much nicer. Let's rotate it 45 degrees so it works consistently. Sorry I keep interrupting the video, but my god, I am really bad at live commentary. If we play as the wave game mode, which is basically the same as the snake, and we fall into this portal early, we'll flip back up early as well. If we fall into it late, we also flip back up later. But if you rotate the gravity portal to be parallel to the direction the wave will flip to, then you'll see the wave ends up in the same place, regardless of when you fall into this portal, which just makes gameplay like a lot more consistent. Oh my god, I swear way too many people don't seem to know about this. Yeah, it even goes to the music. Dun 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 dun. I don't really know what beat to click to after that, though. That's the only problem. Okay, yeah, this is going well. We're actually making gameplay. You love to see it. This gameplay structuring looks like electrodynamics. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I have a lot of structuring, electrodynamic-esque structuring in this level. Like here in the ship part. It's less Clusterfunky because Clusterfunk uses similar structuring, but it has saw blades all along the walls. Yeah, I have more of that structuring. I use a lot in the ship. I have more of it in the duel here. And then I have it here in the snake part. I could have like a really tight section here, so it looks... Hello, garage door. So it looks like you're going through something really, really difficult and intimidating, but really this consistently works the same exact way every single time. You love fake difficulty here. A jam attack classic. Maybe I'll have the player land on a block here for a second. if I simply place, where are they? If I simply place some allow wave drag modifiers down here, then we can just land on the block and then actually click to the music. D-block, what's that? I only know allow wave drag modifier. Exactly, call it by its real name. I love creative mode mod. It has some interesting names on some of the objects. Okay, did I forget to place an allow wave drag modifier? I did. My bad. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Maybe I'll do another gravity portal here, so it doesn't flip your gravity. Oh boy howdy, I sure do love not explaining what I'm doing whatsoever. So normally, right, the snake flips gravity every time you click. But if you want to change things up a little, you can do that with gravity portals. Wow! For your viewing convenience, I'll have the background color change depending on the snake's gravity. So we fall into this corridor upside down, and if we click, it flips the snake right side up. Then when we let go, we fall down. That is, in fact, how gravity works. But if we slap on an upside down gravity portal in the middle of this corridor, then that basically undoes the snake's gravity flip, flipping them back to upside down gravity, which helps change the gameplay up without actually really doing that much. Yeah, I like that. Kind of changes things up. We gotta place like a bunch of the top gameplay. I haven't been doing that. Let's make a staircase up here. Staircase this way. There we go. What difficulty am I going for? Exclamation point level info difficulty. It's a new one RobTop added in 2.3. Okay, I wonder if this would feel better if I rotated this 45 degrees and had it there. That just lines up a little bit more and nicely and neatly. Yeah, I like that. I'm excited to do more stuff with the snake in this level. There's going to be 3 snake parts in total, and I have some interesting ideas of how to change it up every time. Dun dun. Okay, yeah, let go to the beat as well. I do like how that flows. Dun 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 dun. I am a professional singer, guys. No one quite as good as me. I'm sorry, it's so catchy. I might make the player mini here. I want to make the player smaller. I don't know, if I just scale everything down, it should work. This group 38. If I just scale 38 down. I mean, the old particles, the old trail won't scale down because those particles have already been spawned, but it should work well enough. You know, Jonathan GD's here. He didn't make his custom swing copter rotate, so I don't have to make my custom snake trail scale. God, I'm spitting bars. Ooh, that's kind of a gross trail, man. I don't know, do I need to make it spawn more particles? It already spawns so many particles. Maybe I'll have like a reduced particle mode in low detail mode. It's just the max detail mode in the level will spawn like a lot of particles. Like that many. It's 1,500 particles, which I guess isn't that bad as long as I'm not doing other particle effects. Okay, now the trail as the mini snake looks okay. Does Firmament by Curse Snake go kind of hard? I mean, Curse Snake songs in general go hard. Yeah, it goes really well to the music. It is pretty easy, but I'm just introducing the game mode for the first time. Maybe I'll make the mini section a little bit harder. I'm sorry, I genuinely can't stop. It's like, you ever watch the Salmonella video about, what was it, the people who like danced for days on end and couldn't stop dancing and like their feet started bleeding and they wouldn't sleep, but they like kept dancing. It was like an entire town. It's like that. Difficulty like this, continuing for 4 minutes, is becoming extreme demon. This is not that hard. This is like medium demon snake. This is really easy. Okay, I won't make it get harder in the mini. I'm going to have this end like a block earlier. I think that'll go better to the music. Oh boy. Also, this is the drop, so it's supposed to be harder than the other parts. It'll get easier again for a while after this. Okay, where's those good old allowed wave drag modifiers? Do I have any building tips for you to get to your first creator points? Don't build for creator points. Just build because you enjoy building, and you'll eventually get good enough to get creator points easily. If you really enjoy creating, you will naturally get good enough to get creator points. I mean, it took me, I think, 6 or 7 separate levels and like 330 hours of creating, and I got no creator points. And then finally, in reality, it was like my 7th or 8th serious level that finally got rated. I think that one took another like 60 hours to build, so it took me like 400 hours of creating to actually make something that got rated. But I did it because I enjoyed it. Okay, I need to place down one of these slopes so I can lock this to the same rotation, snap the rotation to be in line with the mini wave. Maybe I'll just put the yellow portal on the ground here. Maybe I'll move the ground a little bit further down. My favorite game mode is Jam Attack. It is. I love myself. This is what we call narcissistic tendencies. I might just nerf this gap a little bit. I don't know. You just barely became mini. It's not fair. Okay, I think I have to end the stream really soon. This is very, simple gameplay. It doesn't have a ton going on, to be fair. But it is introducing, a new game mode, so it doesn't really need a lot going on. Maybe for this mini section, I won't even do this kind of structuring. Maybe I'll just do, stark walls. Like this. This might be better. Some more post-commentary here. I did this because the old structures were ugly and bad. Why can I not select you? Thank you. I'll just do rectangular structures covered in spikes. I'll still have the portal propped up on a block here, because I like that. Will I upload the layout when I finish it? Yeah, I'll upload the layout public. I will do that. Okay, let's playtest this. I feel like that should be moved down. Feels like you have to click too early. That's a little bit better. Okay, yeah, I think that flows pretty well. I'm gonna remove the spikes on these walls. We don't need them. You hear how it goes da dun dun da da dun dun. So you kind of let go to the dun, and maybe I'll put a portal that goes to the dun. Does that make any sense? I don't know if that does. But let's do it anyway. Yeah, you see how it goes da dun dun? Like that. Da dun dun. And maybe I should probably put a structure you land on, because that third note doesn't hit for a little bit there. It doesn't hit till here, and you're all the way down there off screen by the time the note hits. Dun, dun, right there. So let's prop up the player with a little structure here that makes sure they're still on screen when the note hits. Okay, now I need to make this shorter because you have to click just barely after you start falling, which I don't like. Maybe I'll nerf this gameplay by narrowing this structure a little bit. My allowed dart wave modifier, drag modifier. My wave can't do drag. There we go, that's better. Maybe let's do the wave portal gimmick here again, where you stay the same gravity because you go through a portal, wave portal, gravity portal. We would like to see a duel like those who use the teleport thing, but with no Gilbert. What? Is that good? Is that good and cool and good? Maybe this is just too much. Maybe I should just have the player land on a block up here. I feel like there's just too much going on at once, and I don't like it. I like my gameplay simple and predictable. None of this woke stuff. Okay, maybe we add the portal on the block here. That could work a little bit better than what we had going before. Yeah, that goes to the music, just up, down, up, down. That is simple, but it works. Let's just go with that. This is very basic gameplay. I like it. I like it because I have to go soon. And so I like that it's simple and that I don't have to do much. I'll move this up. Block. So it goes to the music better. I might have the player go down slightly sooner. And then I'll probably have to move everything down a teeny bit to compensate for that. Maybe I'll have the camera even start zooming out a tiny bit more throughout this part. Like 0.75, not a big difference. And then it'll zoom back in here when the player becomes big again. Exponential out, where are you? Thank you. Why can I not select the scale trigger that is right there that I am clicking on? Thank you. Also, this should happen when the mini portal happens. Like that. Maybe I'll just put the big portal up. I don't want to put it in the middle of this gate because then the player becomes slightly bigger and you can die if you're too close to the spikes. Maybe I'll just put it right after the gate. Let's divide the scale instead of multiply it so it goes back to normal. I hope I'm not speaking Latin for you guys. Maybe I'll just extend this a bunch. I know I said I wouldn't put the scale trigger inside of here, but it kind of makes more sense now. I have no idea why I said scale trigger. What I meant is, earlier I said I wouldn't put this big size portal in the middle of this corridor, because the player might die to the spikes by their hitbox becoming bigger, but honestly, it's such a small difference, I decided I just do not care. Also, let's just fix this really quick. This structure just cuts off, and I don't like that. It's been bothering me for a while now. I think that might be all I have time to do on this stream, which is fine, because my brain is beginning to just simply not work. So we can probably do the rest of this next stream. I'm pretty happy with what we have so far, though. Okay, let's go live. Let's just get going. Get this party started. Okay, today we're going to be building the rest of this snake part in my level Clusterfunk. Ain't this cool? This is a little custom game mode I made. I didn't come up with the idea. This has been done before, but also I just want to make snake gameplay. I have not done this before. Alright, since the player can click kind of like anywhere in this section, they can click up really high or they can click down, well, that was right in the middle, and they can click down like really low like that. I think because of that level of variation, I want to have the player land on a block before they continue, so that it kind of resets their vertical position. A vertical position reset. I talked about this in my last video. Working on this level. I think I'm gonna do like 3 separate stream highlights videos working on the layout for this level, and then obviously I'll do 100 hours after that. In my little mountain town I only did 2 stream highlight videos, but I was going to do 3, but the third one I tried to do just didn't work as a video. I was trying to do like really complicated technical stuff and it was like a 10-hour stream, and in hindsight that was a really bad idea. This should work a lot better. So if I'm gonna make stream highlights videos, it has to be something that's conceptually very interesting but also very easy to do, and something where the stream itself is gonna take just like a couple hours. If I'm working on a big project like this and I want to make some stream highlight videos to like give little previews, then I'm definitely gonna try to pick parts of the process that are easy to make into a stream highlights video. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, maybe I'll do another setup kind of like this yellow portal back here. I'll just do that again, repeat that gimmick here, and then I'll make this part play consistently, which is what I want. I want it to kind of play the same every time you go through, because if instead I had the player click like dum, bum, bum, dum, bum. Like they're supposed to click here, and then I like fill out, you know, I fill all this in like that. Then, like depending on where they click here, if they're down lower, it's gonna sync differently, and I don't like that. So I'm going to do this whole setup so that it works the same every single attempt. Or maybe I don't even need this platform. If the player just like falls into this portal right here, then that should actually do it. There we go. So something like that. Okay, you'll go through this bit the same every time, so I can make this really tight. And it doesn't matter, but it does feel more satisfying if the player kind of goes through the middle. Okay, let's try something like this. I can adjust this gameplay if it feels like it's not really on sync. Okay, yeah, no, that syncs good. That's about the same gap width as the section over here. Okay, you know what I should do? Back at the beginning of this part, I have a little bit here where you kind of land on a block there while going downwards, and I don't really do anything else like this for the duration of this part, so maybe if I did the same thing but like upside down, then that would be like a nice callback. It feels more satisfying when the same thing happens multiple times, but like it's a little bit different this time, you know? Does that make sense? This is called a gimmick. So for example, if I make a cube section like this, where you have to do this blue, yellow, blue orb pattern just once, then that's a lot less satisfying than doing it multiple times. Repetition in gameplay just tends to feel nice. But what's even better is if I change up the orb pattern every time I use them. That way I have both repetition and variation, which is usually what you want to go for in gameplay. For this snake part, I have the player land on a block and then click after falling. So doing the same thing but with the opposite gravity gives a nice mix of that repetition and variation. And then maybe I'll mirror the gimmick here where there's like a portal that makes, when they click here it doesn't reverse gravity because the portal resets them, but maybe I'll do the same thing but right side up, falling downwards. Is this ant game mode? No, it's not that. Does this thing look like an ant to you? That's one long goddamn ant. Either I'm very concerned for you, or you live in Australia, and that explains it. I want the player to go more downwards here because the player is constantly towards the top of the screen, and I want the player to like... Gameplay tends to be more satisfying when the player kind of moves up and down throughout the entirety of the screen, or at the very least is like more or less centered. If you mostly just use the top of the screen, usually that feels kind of weird compositionally, and I'm not a fan. So the armadillo game mode, this is really funny, guys. This is a good bit. It's like animals, but it's like not the animal that it obviously is. That is peak comedy. Whoa, did you see me like clip through those spikes? That was crazy. That's probably like a pixel off from dying to them. There we go, and then go like back into the middle like that. That seems good. I would diagnose this gameplay as good. Okay, I'll adjust this if it feels a little bit off. Okay, that's definitely too tight. Let's nerf that slightly. Let's try this. Okay, that does go to the music, but maybe I'll like slowly pan the camera down because this is off screen. Okay, I should probably do the thing where the player becomes mini again. So I'm going big, mini, basically. Then I'll just cut off the structure at a sheer 90-degree angle again. I've done it before and I'll do it again. Can you make some custom icons for the snake game mode? Maybe I'll community outsource some custom ones. I want to have an options menu where you can like use multiple different snake game modes. So maybe I'll be willing to outsource some of that to other people, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'll think about that later. That'll be like a in the final level thing. I'm not gonna have multiple snake game modes you can use just in the layout itself. I'm getting the feeling this maybe needs to be moved up one, actually. Wow, did you see me go through those spikes again? How am I alive? Also, I just realized I'm over 10,000 followers. I don't know when that happened, but geez, thank you. Thank you for following everyone who is following. That's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna have the camera zoom back out for the mini snake, just like it did before. Right here. We'll do exponential in and out. Maybe I'll zoom out even further here, just for the sake of it. Whee! Just do the same thing I did back here, where you land on a platform. Okay, I can do something like this. So you click on the edge of that platform, and then you have to go up. Okay, this will be really tight. So you want to click while you're on the platform to make sure you can go through this. Maybe I'll do the thing where there's a gravity portal that keeps you going the same direction, because I haven't done that in the mini snake yet. Big saw supremacy. The ×4 scale saw. I can delete that. That was just so you wouldn't hit the end wall before this part was over when I was playtesting in the actual level. How big are the gaps back here? 1, 2, 3, 3 blocks between the spikes. Actually, I think that is centered on the yellow portal. I'll move this up. I tried making a bunch of mini snake gameplay here. I tried doing some more unique setups I hadn't done before, where the player clicks while on a block and then like lets go after passing it, but I wasn't really happy with how this was turning out, so I deleted most of it and started over. Wave but harder, until you get used to it. Yeah, I don't like this part. This sucks. And is bad. How about we do this? How about we just make some impossible level gameplay? You have to like some silent circles type stuff. Try that. Okay, that's not terrible. Man, I don't know. Maybe I should do like the whole, there's a gravity orbit, a gravity portal in here that keeps you going the same direction thing. Yeah, like that. That's not so bad. I just like to fill more of the like a wider, what am I trying to say? I like to fill more of the screen, not just like the bottom half of the screen. Again, like I said earlier, we're at over 30 hours, cool. I think this is good. I think I'm happy with this here. Yeah, maybe I'll move this down half a block, perchance. Also, I'm gonna have this slowly zoom in throughout this part. Yeah, that's pretty good. The snakes look so whimsical, thank you. Maybe I'll do like, why is that not snapping? I have snap on. Why are we not snapping here? Snappy, snappy, snap. I will be making the creation of the snake into a stream highlights video, and you can watch that if you want like more detail on how I made it. Alright, I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna fill in all these structures so it looks a little bit nicer. A little bit nicer.
I am under the water. Here too much raining.
That's gonna take a minute, so let's just hurry on up and get that done. I'm just gonna do all the corner pieces right now, and then I'll come back and fill in the rest. Dun dun da 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 dun da dun 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 dun. bum. Da 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 da. Okay, I think that's all the corner pieces. Let me just fill this in with some black inner square. What does your inner square look like? I have no inner square, only darkness. Sing this song, but very high pitch. That'd be funny. This one. I don't know. I don't know how to sing this one normally, let alone falsetto. Dun 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 dun. Okay, here's the snake part. All done. Everything, wait, not all done. Not all done. Select all. Edit group, extra, no glow. Okay, now all done. Well, gee golly whiz, wasn't that an awesome video that makes you want to subscribe to the Jamit YouTube channel so that we can hit 100,000 before 2026? Anyway, it's time for the showcase. The snake section I made is actually pretty short, so what I'll go ahead and do is give you a longer preview of a bunch of parts I've made in Clusterfunk so far. Consider it your reward for watching till the end. Unless you skipped ahead to this part, in which case you're dead to me. Okay, enjoy. Cool, I love it. I love it. Yas. One of them doesn't have a corner block? Wait, what? This is not okay. Wait, which one? Now I have to look. Now I have to find it. If you gotta do homework, I would recommend doing your homework. Although trying to get it all done too. Oh, there it is. I see. I'm still really bad at streaming. You'd think I would be good at this after doing it for years, but not really, no. Goodbye. Bye-bye.